Well, welcome back. Welcome back, my Reds. We are going into another episode of Liverpool 12th Man Show, and it's one that we've got jam-packed today. Big up to AR, big up AR, and also big up to anyone that's joining us live for this episode, because we've got some transfer sagas to talk about, some ITK updates. No, I am not the ITK, but I definitely have been reading some of those ITKs and the latest developments that could shape Liverpool's season. So I would ask for you to strap in, hit the like button, and let's dive right into this if we could. I'm going to start with the ITK roundup, I guess you can call it. And what I mean by the ITK roundup is, well, we all know that there's certain journalists or even certain pundits or the likes that are out there that certainly give us their little bit of inside takes. You have a case where you'll have some people being fed by the clubs. Sometimes they're being fed by the player's team, meaning like the family, maybe even the player directly. And then most times also you'll find that they're just getting fed by the agent. However, we do have some in the know reporters that I definitely wanted to start the news from. So let's unpack that as we go into this. We'll start with Fabrizio Romano. We also have James Pearce. I'm going to talk about Craig Hope and even round up the conversation with David Ornstein, who a lot of people look at as being very much credible, considering he's on possibly the largest of the platforms out there when it having to have his information correct when he reports it. So with Fabrizio Romano, he revealed something that I've been saying from pretty much the very beginning of the season. I know some already had this player out the door. Some also didn't think that he had it really together enough to play for this team. Shout out to Dustin. Shout out to Polo, by the way. Big up to both of you. Shout out to Jimmy. Big up, Jimmy. Good to see you. But it was revealed that Federico, no, just kidding. That's a little Puerto Rico type signature. But anyway, Federico Chiesa and his agent made it clear to Liverpool that he wants to stay at Anfield. After Diaz's departure, I think a lot of us were ringing the bell because, let's be honest, we've watched Liverpool depart or separate or part ways with Lucho. We've watched us part ways with Darwin. We've watched us part ways, obviously, with Ben Doak. We've even had the unfortunate and untimely departure from life itself with Jota. So we've had a lot of players that are no longer with the club. However, when it came down to it, we were left with Cody and Salah. And I was ringing that bell saying that's a lot to ask for. We were left with two wingers, one obviously prolific, the other on the rise of being a prolific answer for us. And it really makes you go and say, okay, wow, we're really going to have to find some players that can step up and bring some real depth to our club. But Chiesa seems more like a player on the out by the way that Slot was utilizing him. There was even those of us that pointed out the fact that, I get it, the Charity Shield is looked at by some as being a glorified preseason or a glorified exhibition. But let's be honest, seeing Chiesa not be called off the bench for what he did in, obviously, that Bournemouth home opener was kind of a head scratcher. You had the extra sub. We had only used 4 on the bench, was Rio and Chiesa. I can understand if you don't want to go with the youth and put that on his shoulders. That's one thing, but it's another that you have Chiesa, a seasoned veteran, that you don't utilize. And And yeah, it was something of a head scratcher. Shout out Red Armchair Supporter, big up, big up. But now he believes a little bit in the sense of, you know what? There is a place for him here. There is a definite void that could be filled by Chiesa in our front line. And I think that given the opportunity, he can be an answer. He can certainly be a super sub, if not a player that you can find, being utilized as a fill-in substitute or fill-in starter at times. Because now it seems he believes is the time to open a new chapter here, and I'm hoping that we are open to allow for him to write that chapter with us. Then there's James Pearce. James Pearce gave this update saying that the latest on Newcastle was that they're saying they are locked in on Wissa. Brentford's valuation has jumped from 50 million initially to now 60 million. Look, Newcastle, the longer you wait, you're gonna hear the Fat Joe interpretation. Yesterday's price is not today's price. And that's what is being spoken on, apparently, because the same way that you are apparently doing that with Liverpool, it's a little bit what's good for the goose is good for the gander, I guess, because Newcastle has not met that evaluation, and apparently they won't meet that evaluation, but they're hopeful of a breakthrough soon. If it fails, Isak's chances of moving might be reduced, to be honest with you. We're going to talk about some of the comments that he made at the award, or the letter that he wrote to the award ceremony. But then you have Craig Hope. Now, Craig Hope is a Newcastle journalist, and he writes for the Daily Mail. He highlighted the tension around Isak. He spoke about how Newcastle fans were already chanting negatively about him after their draw with Villa. And as his standoff continues, they were saying greedy male version of the B word. Okay. I'm not going to say it, but greedy B is what they were saying. The striker is training alone, and a resolution is expected this week, people. Resolution is expected this week. And I would hope that Newcastle fans can take a breather from a little bit of their venom and allow for some of this to kind of settle in the proper way that it needs to. Because David Ornstein wrote, he's a journalist that writes for The Athletic. He's also on, I think he commentates on Sky Sports here and there. He also commentates on Peacock or NBC News. And he's reported that Newcastle's interest in Wolves forward Strand Larsen is real. However, while also dropping the news that Arsenal's Leandro Trossard has agreed to a new deal until 2027. Now, it really means to me, I just wanted to speak on this last point really quick. What that really means to me is that it looks like Eze is not possibly going to be making that move to Arsenal. I don't think you would pay and basically cement Trossard into staying with the club if you're going to have Martinelli and Trossard on that left side. It doesn't really provide a real entry point for Eze to join Arsenal. And I'm glad to hear that, to be honest with you. Obviously, I'm not an Arsenal fan. I don't believe any of us in the chat are. If you are, more power to you. But Eze is a talent, and he's a player that I wouldn't want to see strengthening Arsenal in one bit whatsoever. But it also means, with that comment about Wolves, Strand Larsen, I don't know if they make that move, considering that, Wolves have very limited firepower in their front line, and giving that to Newcastle could be a white flag basically being raised on their efforts to stay above the relegation line. So it is a question. It is a question. I don't know if I'll have a panel today, because I know that some of the panel that normally joins me is with Brian on his show. But if they do, we'll definitely dive back into some of these segments or some of these points to maybe get some of their opinions. You can always give me your opinion in the chat. Obviously, when I'm here solo, you're my co-pilot. So definitely involve yourself in the discussion and in the conversation. I was going to report really more so, make my journalism professors happy, and say by going into what has exactly happened this week for our Reds. And that's the big statement, or the big conversation that a lot of us are probably having, whether actively, which is what I'm trying to do with you now, or even remotely, which is sometimes what we end up having to do when we watch the other shows on either this platform or others. But this week was another massive week for Anfield so far. And obviously our win was very important to us, and it was a very inspiring comeback victory, from going from leading 2-0 to being equalized on, to then pushing forward with a great goal from Chiesa and a door slamming shut goal from Salah as he continued his record-writing campaigns throughout the Premier League and other aspects as well. But Liverpool officially unveiled who I believe could be our future when it comes to our center halves. Now, whether I'm hoping that his career develops well, but Kwanzaa, as another player that I'd like to speak on too. Kwanzaa is obviously no longer with the team. However, he is a player that we do have a buyback incentive included in his deal, and hopefully he can develop into a player that is to the level of what we'll need here at Liverpool. Maybe even come closer to the VVQ shouts that he's always had out there. But for now, our interest of projects, our interest of prospect, when it comes to having a player that we help develop, help learn under the tutelage of possibly, in my opinion, one of the greatest, if not the greatest, center half of the Premier League era, and that is VVD. We'll have Giovanni Leoni from Parma for 26 million is what we paid for him. So it's not a cheap penny that we've spent on this player from Italy. But the 18-year-old is viewed as a longtime successor in defense and someone that I'm looking forward to see develop into a real bona fide player. I know there have been talks about, I think, Arsenal looking at possibly, I think it was Arsenal, I'll have to double check on that, but I believe it was Arsenal looking at possibly trying to bring in Bastoni, a player that I very much do rate. Who knows? Maybe with Chiesa staying and now Leoni joining, maybe when they venture back to Italy, they can speak to Bastoni and tell him of the project that we're building here, and maybe influence him to joining this the successor as well. But one other player that could be a successor, or at least an additive to our defensive line, and that is Marc Guehi. Talks have continued with Crystal Palace and are ongoing. Both clubs remain apart on evaluation, which is unfortunate. But I think that they've got to recognize, and this is being Crystal Palace, that this player will either leave on a free, or you can take a much, I understand, discounted rate, if you want to call it that, but certainly a an evaluation that is certainly a fair evaluation, I think. Both clubs, like I said, aren't together on what they view, but Liverpool are still pushing as we believe we can get something across the line. And his absence from Palace's third kit launch has been noticed by myself and by others out there. I know, Rasta Crab, if you're here to not hear anything about Isak, then I guess I'll give you the heads up when we get into that portion, because this isn't all about Isak, but that is the elephant in the room. Isak and Guehi, Liverpool if Liverpool were to land both, it would be a perfect end to the window, I believe, pushing our summer spend to a whopping £466 million spent in the summer window. That would be absolutely astronomical, that we would have spent close to £500 million in a summer window. There are those out there that aren't happy with our window. Those are those out there that aren't happy still with the organization that owns the Liverpool club. But look, we've seen on the pitch some of the additions that they've made, most notably Hugo Ekitike, who impressed on his Premier League debut, the goal and an assist, while Federico Chiesa also scored from the bench, a player that we brought in last summer. But despite the attacking flashes, I know we still feel like we're short up front. And I believe that this will see some additions to this club. I think that we'll certainly see some players added to the team. Now, to make you ask the question, there are some few players that are still with this team, haven't necessarily seen quality minutes, maybe not even called up to the team sheet, and a few players that could still leave Anfield before the window shuts. And those players are obviously Harvey Elliott, who has interest from Leipzig. I personally, if he is going to leave the club or leave the team, I would like to certainly know and see that there is a buyback clause that's involved in his deal, and that's whether is with Leipzig, or as I would like to see, and it's something I would definitely like to see happen, being that I think that the experience and the absolute probability of him starting, if not getting quality minutes, would be substantial. And that is, I would love to see him join a team like Spurs. Spurs would be contending, obviously, in Europe, and also, obviously, in Champions League, as they are the Europa champions. And I would also like to see him be able to be utilized in an aspect that gets him further Premier League experience with a club that is certainly going to contend this year, I think. The other name that I think is more so already on the outs, and that is Kostas Tsimikas. Tsimikas wants European football. He's expected to move abroad, but that's not his only options. There are options that could keep him in the Premier League. There are teams out there that could definitely utilize a player that would be substantially equipped and also substantially benefited from Tsimikas, as he's a talent. He's definitely a good talent. Maybe no longer a talent that we can utilize, being that we do have Robbo and Kirkez a part of the club, but still a talent all the same. Then you have our youngsters that are involved in our team, and those youngsters are Koumas, who impressed with his display in that League Cup game that we had, where him and Dan's absolutely were phenomenal. You have McConnell out there still. You have Gordon, Kai Gordon, who was a hot commodity at one point for us, but now are being lined up to be more potentially loaned out. And there are multiple clubs circling for their talents, as they are very, very good players and players that could help teams, whether in the championship or the likes, possibly secure a bid to the Premiership, or even at least help advance them in cup competitions as the like. I'm trying to think of what to be honest with you, I see, shout out to the streets, shout out to Trudon, by the way. I think that's the only other people. Red for Life, shout out to you as well. Big up Realism Jared. I think those are the only, and I already said hello to others that have pitched in to the comments. I would say to Crab, when you speak of Tsimikas, there are quite a few teams actually that are interested in his talents. And what I mean by that is whether it's in the Premier League or even outside of the Premier League. Give you a list. I have a list, but I'd have to look it up for you real quick. Let me get my list here for you, because I know that Forest was one of the teams that was interested in him, but let me just I'll put it out there. So when it comes to the teams that are interested, and what's Forest, and also Leeds United, I know, were interested in his services. I know that you think he's average, but some of the teams that he could go to is Olympiacos. Obviously, that would be a return to a return to Greece, but also it would be an opportunity for him to continue playing in Europe, because they are in Champions League. I mentioned Forest. They've expressed interest early in the transfer window because they're definitely looking to strengthen their back line. I mentioned Leeds United. Leeds United are very interested in him. They're very, and I do mean very interested in him. They've already agreed to, actually, if you don't believe me, you can look it up. But according to reports, Leeds has already agreed to personal terms with Tsimikas. And despite that, despite the fact that Tsimikas would have to take a pay cut, because Leeds, despite being obviously in the Premier League, do have to make some. They're not going to be able to pay the wages that you see at Liverpool. They're currently an option, at least possibly, for Tsimikas. Another team is Lille. Lille have considered a move. I know that they have pursued other targets, but Lille was one that was interested in him. And also Marseille. Marseille is, sorry about that, my phone is blowing up as we speak. Marseille is a team as well. And finally on that list is Valencia. They've also been linked. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, say 6 teams all linked to Tsimikas. That's not saying that he's, chopped liver, I think, streets. But, it is what it is. I did want to go into more so about our defense, because I think that's more of a concern to me than even our offense. And I'd like to take a deeper dive into it, and that is with Marc Guehi, because reports confirm he was left out of Palace's third kit launch, which has fueled even more speculation. Normally, Guehi, obviously being the captain, has been front and center of the promotions, but suddenly he's absent from that situation. With his contract up next summer, Liverpool sense a market opportunity, and I think that's smart for them to do. Palace won't want to lose him for free, obviously, which has been spoken on by their CEO. But Guehi himself knows a move now could secure his England future. Let's be honest. He wants to play in the World Cup, So that's important to get minutes, but not only get minutes, but get into a club that he's settled and he can move forward with. I think pairing him as the alternative to possibly Konate, or even pairing him with Konate to possibly give Van Dijk some much needed rest and rotation would give us some defensive depth that we've lacked since Matip's injury, to be honest with you. It would also mean that Konate's shaky display against Bournemouth wouldn't be such a red alarm urgency for reinforcements as a lot of people are saying, by the way. Shout out to Lee Wiskid, by the way. Shout out to Lee Wiskid. But despite heavy interest from us, Crystal Palace boss Oliver Glasner has confirmed that Guehi will start their Europa Conference League playoff against Fredrikstad. Glasner insisted both Guehi and Eze remain committed, but admitted he cannot predict if or when they'll leave. So I think his statement really said a big deal. I'll give you the quote if you want to hear it, so that you can understand what it is that I'm speaking on. And that is, he said, "Most of you will be surprised that they will start again tomorrow because of all the rumors. But again, they are committed. They are committed to the team. They have a contract here. And when one of the players will leave, I don't know at the moment. Then they will have to leave as the guys who always give 100% for Crystal Palace." End quote. But here's the reality, people. And this is something that I think you all understand. And it's something that I have certainly recognized and agree with our backroom staff. And that is Liverpool and Palace are at odds over a 10 million evaluation gap. Now, it might not be a lot to some. I know that some people will often say, oh, just pay him the money. Just pay the money. Who cares? But with PSR, especially dealing with FFP, when it comes to UEFA and Premier League, you have to do the right. You have to do right by the books. And Palace want 45 million. Liverpool, rightfully so, I believe, are at 35 million. We're talking about a team that obviously doesn't want to let go of their captain. But at the same time, we've seen offers been tabled for our last year of a contract world talent. And some might not say that Guehi is a world talent just yet. I think that he's certainly one of the top center halves in the Premier League, and that says a lot. But we've gotten offers for Konate at 25 million pounds. Now, I don't think that 25 million is a proper valuation for it. I would even go as far as to say that I would say 35 million is more understandable with 1 year left on the deal. But I wouldn't be angry if we figured out a way to say, hey, let's do our King Solomon here and split the baby in half, in the sense of, rather than you want 45 and we want 35, let's meet in the middle at 40 and call it good. Now, would that be 5 million probably over our evaluation? Absolutely. Would it be 5 million more than possibly we should be giving for a player in their last year? Maybe so. But talks have resumed this week. I think there's a very big opportunity and a very big chance that there's going to be a compromise. And we can only hope that Guehi, unlike what happened to him in that Community Shield where he went off the pitch early and possibly people were hoping it wasn't because of injury, or some were saying it's because of dehydration or cramping. Still all the same, because when you cramp up, you can certainly, that's when you possibly can pull hamstrings and the likes. We're hoping he can avoid injury if he's going to be put into these lineups with their Crystal Palace situation, where they're going to have to do this playoff to really get into the competition. There was also a notable moment, I think, after Palace's 0-0 draw with Chelsea, where cameras caught Guehi basically giving the cold shoulder to Glasner. The manager later claimed it was nonsense, saying Guehi was emotional, ambitious. But let's be real. The optics are the optics, and those optics speak volumes. And with Guehi's missing from Palace's third kit launch earlier this week, I have a growing suspicion. Again, I'm not an ITK. But I get it. And I get the conspiracy theories. I get it, crap. But with that said, I would think that we are getting closer to a deal actually happening for Guehi. Now, again, I see that some are kind of on the fence with this. Trying to see what you guys are saying in the chat. But I would say to grab earmuffs for this section because this is the ongoing saga, and I get it that you don't want to hear it. Some don't want to hear it. Some don't want to deal with it anymore. But the saga continues. Like Mob Deep. And the Sun, for instance, I know. The Sun is reporting that Newcastle could finally sell for a British record of £130 million. Liverpool remain confident, but are waiting until after Monday's clash at St. James Park, which makes sense. I don't think that there wouldn't be anything different with the sense of, I don't think Isak's going to play in that game. I don't think that even if we got it over the line before that Isak would believe in his Suns. And trust me, I'm not a fan of the Sun. Definitely, I know that the Sun is something that us as Liverpool fans don't really call upon for having a credible force or source as news. But this second bid will be something of a real, call it what it is moment. Isak has been training alone. He's going to get a fine for missing the Villa game, actually. And the pressure is mounting. Fans have thought to take it personally, and that is Newcastle fans have taken it personally to the extent where they have turned on him, once singing his praises and calling him Alexander the Great. Now they're singing negative chants of Greedy B, fill in the blank. And the pressure's mounting. I mean, Fabrizio Romano revealed Liverpool Isak, no calls for other strikers, no plan B. I know Ekitike is looked at as a plan B, but he's not. They are simply waiting for Newcastle to blink. Romano stressed that Liverpool are ready to bid again. Very silent, very quiet, but not sleeping on this one is the quote. Newcastle, meanwhile, want 2 strikers in before sanctioning an exit. Wissa is at the top of the list. I mentioned the Wolves striker. That could be also a player that they possibly bring in as well. But this isn't just a transfer. This is a full-on power struggle between Newcastle's owners and Isak's desire to join our club. And what's ugly and hypocritical about this is some of the pundits, some of the fan bases out there that continue to talk about, have opinions on, for instance, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and how we should have given up and allowed for Trent to do what he needs to do. And here's a player that is doing the same. We've seen players in the past, whether it's Suarez or more poignantly put, more so with Coutinho and his situation, we've seen a very like-for-like situation in that Suarez, I get it. I know Pops has brought him up as being one of the reasonings behind it, or examples to use, but I don't think Suarez is that case. Suarez and Coutinho were both prolific players for us, so I'm not going to separate them from that aspect. And why I say Suarez isn't the same as Coutinho in this example is because Coutinho went for over 140 some million euros, and or 140 million pounds, I should say. And when we received not all the money, but when we got at least that transfer over the line, it allowed for us to have some sensible and if not groundbreaking transfers that joined our club. Obviously, Ali, we got Becker, and we also got Van Dijk. And those 2 players became 2 crucial members of the spine of our club. And if you don't think that Coutinho was a spine player of our club, you are doing a disservice to our history, because he certainly was. He was a very valued player, and certainly, if not possibly, one of the best players on our team. Now, what he did to get his exit from the team was disappointing. We saw similar actions from our coach trying to implore him to stay, saying to him the same things we said to Stevie G, in that sense of, look, you could stay with this club, create and continue to build upon the foundation you've already made with this club. And they could build a statue, practically build a statue for you. Or you can go to another club and start afresh. Now, Coutinho always had aspirations of playing for Barcelona. A lot of the Spanish-speaking players often do, whether it's Real Madrid or even for Barcelona. But at the very same time, you have certainly a connection with how there were times and reports that Coutinho was making up injuries. Now, I'm not saying that Isak's making up injuries, but I know that that was initially the reason why he was, quote unquote, out of the lineup or not joining the club. We know that now that he's missing games, he's going to be fined for it. And they're setting up a very unhealthy locker room environment, but also they're setting up a situation where the nuclear option that I've spoken on could be activated by one of the parties, whether the team or the player. the player refuses to say or to join the club and honor his contract, then what can be happen is they could say, all right, well, we're going to look for damages. We're going to ask for the money that we would have spent on your contract or the likes. So they come to some arbitration and end up he has to pay out of his own pocket. Or it could be a situation where the team is held accountable. But what made this even more louder of a message or louder of a War of the Roses, if we want to call it that? I think that's a good way of putting it. They have a new Roses movie coming out, and War of the Roses is a movie that I enjoyed back in the day. Trying to think of who was Michael Douglas and I can't remember. I'm gonna go blank on her name. She's talented actors too. I can't think of the name, but possibly seen War of the Roses. Anyway, usually if I had Lee here, he would probably be like quick to give me the name of the actress that I'm missing. But Danny DeVito was in the movie too. It was a really good movie. He was the lawyer for the lawyer. It wasn't Catherine Zeta-Jones, actually. It wasn't Catherine Zeta-Jones. Shoot. They're going to make me look it up. Oh, man. It was wait, hold on. Kathleen Turner. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I'm sorry. Sorry, Kat. Yeah, Turner. Thank you. A. Wheeler. Thank you. Big up. Kathleen Turner. That's who it was. Catherine Zeta-Jones is his wife, or I believe they're still married. But yes, that was his wife in real life. But in the movie, he was married to Kathleen Turner. Good movie if you ever watched it. They're making a reboot of it with, I know she's an English actress, and with the guy who plays Doctor Strange from Marvel. They're making a reboot of it as well called Roses. It looks intriguing enough that I would probably go and see it. But back to what I'm saying. Why I think it's very similar to the War of the Roses is this. The noise has become impossible to ignore because after Isak's release, Isak released a personal statement. And it's something that I know me in the streets were going back and forth about it. Crab and I were going back and forth about it because I was saying about how, Anfield Irishman had mentioned about how Isak had previously put the wheels in motion before this. It had even gotten to the point where there was supposedly an agreement made with the back room, Newcastle's back room, who unfortunately the person that made the agreement apparently is no longer with Newcastle. But it still means that even though that person isn't there anymore, it doesn't mean that you don't honor the agreement. That's not good business. But what he made was he made a statement during the PFA Awards accusing Newcastle of breaking promises and misleading their own supporters. Here's the message in full, and I'm going to read it out in full so I don't mince words. He says, and this is Isak speaking, "I'm proud to be recognized by my fellow professionals with a place in the PFA Premier League Team of the Season for 2024-2025. First and foremost, I want to thank my teammates and everyone at Newcastle United who have supported me along the way. I'm not at the ceremony tonight. With everything going on, it didn't feel right to be there. I've kept quiet for a long time while others have spoken. That silence has allowed people to push their own versions of events, even though they know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made and the club has known my position for a long time. Let me emphasize that, because I spoke on that quite a bit. Got a lot of pushback, but I spoke on it quite a bit, that this isn't the first time. This summer was not when Isak decided, oh, it's time to make a move. That wasn't the case. He went on to say, to now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now, and why change is the best interest of everyone, not just myself. That's a real bombshell, people. Player has confirmed that what we have been speaking on, what I've been emphasizing, what I've been basically backing up his right to do, or not his right, but the common interest of Newcastle and the player as well. Newcastle betrayed their gentleman's agreement, apparently, with Isak. I know people might say, who cares about gentleman's agreement? But there are some of us that believe a handshake is all you need. In some courts, that's exactly the case. A handshake is a binding contract. I get there's new backroom officials. I get that it's being reported that the sporting director role or the interest of it is being held by apparently the coach's nephew. But this thing has taken a really bad turn. For you to say that promises have been broken, it shows that why and how you want me to continue on is difficult. We've been in relationships, might be in some of those relationships currently, where you're let down or a promise is broken. And it's difficult to look at that person in the same light. That's how this player is looking at his club. He feels disrespected. And now that the fans are turning on him because of all this misinformation being put out by the club, there's really no way back from this. I'm sure the player wanted to keep it behind doors, wanted to keep it silent. But if you're going to continue to have Newcastle putting out this campaign as if Isak is this terrible individual who is turning his back on his club and is giving, that's not what is the truth. And especially to say to them, let's forget all that he's done for the club. That hurts, I'm sure, for him at least. I know those of us that have dealt with it with Trent. It was not easy to see him go. And some of our fan base to this day say his legacy has been tarnished. But this is now a staring contest. This is now a game of chicken between Newcastle's board, Liverpool's patience, and obviously Isak. Because remember, we gave a incredible bid of 110 million pounds that they rejected. It's not like that was chicken feed. And again, I can't emphasize this. The original price wasn't 150 million. I am almost willing to bet anything that was not the case, because no negotiation would start with you saying you have a 150 million pound valuation, and I'm going to go in there 40 million shy of your valuation. you're going to be more like what we see with the Guehi evaluation, which is Marc Guehi, we evaluate him at 35, and Crystal Palace evaluates him at 45. Okay, that's why we're going to have discussions. That's why we're going to go into the conversation of trying to figure out a sensible compromise, because you're going to be within 10 million is something you can work with. But there's no way you go in and say, okay, I'm at 110, you're at 150. Let's try to figure out how we get into the middle of that. It's just not really how it works. And it shows, at least it shows, that now with this 150 million evaluation, 150. Here's why, and I'll complete my thought in 1 second, but I do want to take on, again, you're part of the conversation in the chat, and I do value my fellow content creator, Rasta Crab. Why you can compare Guehi situation is because they have set an evaluation number. Let's look past the whole how many years are left on the deal. Let's go past that, because that's not looking at it accurately. Crystal Palace has put evaluation on Guehi at 45 million. We, as Liverpool Football Club, have said that we think he's a 35. Look, we have put a 35 million pound evaluation on it. Now, we understand that the reason why the price is set at that low rate, because 45 or 35 is still way under the value of the player on the open market. Okay, 45, 35 is what we've established as being the ballpark of where we're going to negotiate. Where your evaluation is, where our evaluation is. But why I'm saying that our evaluation would not be to come 40 million pounds below whatever your evaluation is if we're going to have a conversation. That's what I'm trying to equate as being an analogy of why I think you don't go into negotiations with that far of a gap between your evaluations. And now that they are sticking to their guns of saying that they are 150 million, very similar, again, very similar to what Crystal Palace has done. Crystal Palace, first and foremost, set Eze's evaluation, 50 million, gets the done deal. But they had an original buyout clause of like something like, I think 68 million as being the valuation clause. And now that day is gone and coming past, they're now looking at it as, well, 50 million was our price yesterday, but it's not today's price. It's going to be 60 million. So they've gone up with Eze. And Eze has more than 1 year left on his deal. So they've made their reevaluation of 60 million. And now a price that you might have been able to have them at it earlier when it was 50 million, you now have to evaluate them at 60 million. So now what have we done? What have we done is that we've now said your price is 150 million. We had a price 110 million. All right, fine. We will meet you in the middle. Because there's no way we're giving up 150 million. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's no way that I would say that Isak, as talented as he is the same level of a Neymar going from Barcelona to PSG. There's absolutely no way. And I don't think anyone in the chat would say that. But Liverpool are very quietly, as quoted, as this is what Fabrizio Romano said again, they said they are very quietly, Liverpool are very quiet, but not sleeping on this one. They are ready for to bring up that 130 million. And they are ready with a new proposal, and they haven't called any other striker other than Isak. They've called another striker other than Isak. We have a fellow panelist excuse me, with us right now. Big up, JK. How are you doing, brother?
I'm cool, bro. What you saying?
Just you know,
The eyes look heat. The eyes look heat.
the Isak thing is just it's tough.
Bro, I knew it was gonna be messy from day one. I said if we're gonna go after this guy, it ain't gonna be straightforward. It's gonna be weeks and weeks of headache. Hence why I ain't really got involved in it. Because I know every day someone says something different and this, that, and the other. As I said,
yeah. Oh no. Real quickly, I was going to state that it's funny. The same club that is boo-hooing over the price that we're offering and making us and alienating their own player from their own club. It's interesting because like they literally did the same thing when trying to acquire
Wissa.
Yeah,
they're doing the same shenanigans. That's the football world, man. Like they don't have to beat how the football world is. Like it gets messy sometimes. You know what I mean? And it makes me laugh. Like what we're supposedly doing for them, they're doing it to Brentford.
Yeah, that's the thing about it is, it's one of those cases where Gordon, to get his way out of Everton, told the club he no longer wants to play with them. He wanted to facilitate the move to Newcastle. Newcastle was fine with that being done by Gordon. They ended up getting their man. But now that a player is doing the same to them, it's how dare he? Does he not know who Newcastle is? It's very, very funny and hypocritical. Some of the cases that are being utilized by some of the pundits, like Alan Shearer's back and forth like stances on it. You're right. It is going to be ugly. I mean, Isak was named to the PFA Team of the Year, and we had 5 players on that team. 5 Liverpool players were on that team. Van Dijk, McAllister, Gravenberg, Salah, even Kirkes was named to that team. Recognition underlines his quality and why Liverpool won't move on to a plan B, I think. Speaking of that, big up to Lady B, big up to Vito.
Lady B.
Big up to all the new people in the chat joining us. I'll ask you this before we move on. Has Isak's statement made it impossible for him to stay at Newcastle? Or do you think that it's a realistic idea that they can reintegrate him into the team, as Eddie Howe thinks he might be able to do?
Well, it's gonna be tricky. I heard today like some kids were shouting rat, calling him a rat and stuff when he was going into training and that. It's gonna be hostile, bro. We got a game against these guys on Monday next week, man. It's gonna be rowdy, man. All because of this transfer. At the end of the day, even when Coutinho wanted to leave, even though he was my favorite Liverpool player, I didn't want him to stay because we wanted him to stay. If he didn't want to stay, you gotta let him go, you know. And I think with Isak, how you ever want to pronounce it, it's the same sort of situation. Like you don't want a player like him on the bench around the other players, getting probably abused during games. You know.
Do you hear the chant they're using?
What is it?
The chant that they're using, the chant that they had at the end of the Villa game, was directed towards Isak, and it was greedy B blank 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 blank.
Yeah.
Just so you know, it's not the other B word. So
yeah.
Greedy B.
You can't go back to that. my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
As a footballer, you want to feel cozy in your club. He's gonna feel always awkward. You know what? They were saying this about me. The fans were, and he's not got. He has to move for me now. It's gone on too far.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you're going to figure that you're going to have to take one side or the other. Either Isak is, not only is Isak lying, but his team and everything they're putting out there. Now that Isak has made a personal statement, because he had to sign off on it. It's not like someone wrote it up for him and he blindly just gave a thumbs up and it just went out representing him. He had to have read it and said, I'm okay with that. Okay. Now that he's put this statement out there, what would, Newcastle has come out and said that he's lying. They've made their own statement. I don't have it available to read right now, but they've made their own statement. I saw it being read on, I think it was like BBC or something like that. And they were saying that his comments and his iterations are false. So it's either Newcastle's telling the truth or is Isak's telling the truth. So both can't be correct, right? So I would ask, was this Newcastle showing their true colors? A club that talks like a superpower, but acts small when promises to players are tested? Because that's unfortunate. We have some good Newcastle fans. I noticed a lot of them haven't been partaking in the conversation on our channel that much as of late. I hope it's not because they think they're going to get ridiculed or anything like that. That's not going to be the case. But I hope primarily it's not because they believe in what their club is feeding them. And that is like a case where you have, a club that is speaking as if they are one of the powerhouses, one of the elites in the Premier League, not taking away from any of their heritage, but they're making it like they are the only adult in the room. And that's a shame, because I really don't think that they're being honest with what they're saying. Big up, Brian. How's it going?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Doing okay. Making out for today.
Where Isak?
Isak's the third highest paid at Newcastle. Yes, I do know that much. I do know that. I do know. I do know that there was mention of the fact that he did want to have his wages raised, and they balked at that for the longest, and kicked the can down the road, knowing that they have a 3-year deal with him. What is unique about it is I just don't think that they're doing themselves. There was apparently when the news broke, I'm trying to remember where I heard this, but apparently when the news broke about this this statement from Isak, there was like an audible gasp in the room for where they were, as people were reading it on their phones or seeing what was being said by Isak. It's very unsure, as some of them are friends with the player, or and some have allegiances with the club, with Newcastle possibly. But it's a unique situation that Newcastle is starting to present, whereas you're trying to get these other deals over the line, like Wissa, and you are off of what Brentford's evaluation is for the player. You have a distinct need to get a striker in, unless you plan on playing Gordon the entire year as your striker. And you're falling short of Brentford's target on their price. You're lowballing the Wolves on their striker, but yet asking for top dollar for your own. It's a unique situation, and by doing what they're doing, it's not setting a good precedent for players to think, oh, this is a club that I would like to go and be a part of. At least in my opinion, that's at least what would be going on. That's a big, big deal too, by the way. I would assume that's to Spurs.
Arsenal.
Is it to Arsenal?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Arsenal must have. That's unique that Arsenal spent the money to shore up Trossard, and then short the money to shore up Trossard, and now, excuse me again. Now they're going to have Martinelli, Trossard, and Eze competing for that left wing position. Should be that's going to be interesting if that's the case.
Yeah, they gazumped Tottenham. They lost Havertz to an injury today, and so yeah, they just basically muscled into the Tottenham deal. They said, "No, we'll take him instead."
They paid what was the original price they were asking for, which was that
They paid basically. It looks like he had a 68 million release clause, which has
right,
expired. So
right.
But basically what they're going to end up paying is basically 60 plus. It seems like they're going to pay what the clause is worth, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But 68 million. Yeah, they just came in and said, no, we're going to. I mean, Tottenham were thinking they were going to get Eze and Savinho, and now they've got no Eze, and Savinho is, who knows. Well, good. I think it's a good sign for Arsenal. It's a good sign for Arsenal. Good player, brilliant player.
It's an excellent player. That will certainly bolster their hopes of trying to contend with the title. I'll tell you that much. As that level of a player.
Yeah.
Left wing, play number 10. He can do that.
Improve them.
Yeah, he'll probably end up pushing into the 10s role for him. So I really don't see. I'm not saying that Martinelli is better than Eze. I'm just saying I still think that they'll start Martinelli on the left, and I don't know what
top there. I think if I was, I think they'll start off. I think they'll go with Saka, Eze, and what's his name, the new lad up front. I think he'll take Eze. I think he'll start off the left, maybe. But that's the thing. He can play. Yeah, he can play number 10. If Odegaard is out, he's a brilliant number 10. Play off the left. Well, I really like him as a player.
Oh, you're saying you'd move Odegaard out of the starting lineup? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying if that's what I'm saying, he can play everywhere. So if Odegaard is out, he can play at number 10.
Oh, if Odegaard's out, I got you. If he's like unable to play, got you.
Oh, he's going to start on the left for me. Yeah, I think he's going to take Martinelli's place. That's why
I thought maybe you're saying Odegaard out because there are some that aren't happy with Odegaard. Actually, they've lost faith with Odegaard.
He was poor last year. He was poor, according to a lot of Arsenal fans, compared to like the year before. He was brilliant. Apparently last year he was like, where's the old Odegaard gone?
Right.
So yeah, I don't. But look, it's Arteta. Jeez, he'll probably end up trying to play him left back or something, won't he? I don't know. It's Arteta, I just okay.
Yeah, I think Eze is not a good signing for Arsenal. I think it's an excellent signing.
Great signing, yeah, great signing.
Like I wouldn't underscore that as being just a good, like that's like an A level signing as opposed to like a C or even a B signing.
I mean, the only thing about it is that you could say he's 27, so that's probably the most anyone's ever going to pay for him is 68 million.
Yeah.
Like if he stays ever true. So that's the only thing about it. He's not going to have resale value, but I mean, I don't care about that shit as a fan. You get 4 good years of Eze. I mean, that's a top player.
Yeah. It's similar. It's somewhat similar to what Bayern Munich had to pay for Lucho almost.
Yeah, very similar fee. Yeah, pretty much spot on. I think 70. Call it 70 million quid, and you won't be far wrong. You know.
Mm-hmm. And they're only like a year separated in age. So
it's mad. Eze is 27 though. He still feels like he's like 23 to me. He just still feels like one of those young players.
He looks
onto the scene, you know.
Yeah. He definitely looks. I didn't even know that. You know that Eze has. Did you know Eze has asthma? Did you know that?
No, I didn't know.
Yeah, he was. There was a picture of him using his inhaler on the sideline.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty wild.
You don't see that often.
You don't see that too often, and maybe it was because of the heat or something. I guess in the game that he played, I think it was against Chelsea that he used the inhaler. But yeah, there's a photo of him using his inhaler, and I was like, he has asthma. Okay, not many. You don't meet many, football players that have asthma.
No.
There is some stuff that we talked about that I brought up earlier. But since we are talking about Newcastle, before I rewind and go into a little bit of what we spoke about earlier, I'll flip this and just go from a Newcastle perspective because the summer tells a lot whether the Isak deal can even really happen, obviously. They spent 65 million on both Malik Diao, right? Is how you pronounce it, and then Jacob Ramsey. They're strong upgrades. I'll be honest with you. They also bought a goalkeeper from Sevilla. But obviously, the thing that's going to make this deal happen is going to be Wissa or them getting in some of the other names. Yeah, and the list continues to evolve because, they had Sesko on that, and it got taken away from them. Like, there's a funny little clip that goes on about like every time they would put a player in, it'd be like they show Romano saying, "Here we go" to another team. It's pretty sad. Because now it looks like their options are Strand, Larson, Ramos from PSG.
Sign him, Strand Larson would be good signing for them.
That'd be good, a solid signing. I don't know if it makes sense for Wolves though. That's the thing.
Oh no, not for Wolves. It wouldn't. No.
I think it takes away. Wolves are gonna have to fight to stay up this year, and that would take away one of their big guns up front. But yeah, Ollie Watkins has been floated out there as possibly.
That sounds spot on to me. That's it. Watkins to Villa is just like, yeah, that sounds absolutely perfect.
Mm-hmm. Nicholas Jackson. I don't know Nicholas Jackson has been put out there.
That was flowed. Went quiet. Mm-hmm. That was the news for a couple of days. You're like, yeah, that sounds good. That makes sense. Do that.
But I think it was because they have an £85 million evaluation for the player, which is ridiculous.
Let's see how highly they value him when there's 2 days left in the window and nobody's bidding for him. Let's see how highly they value him then.
That's a very good point.
I mean, but it's Isak, Wissa, or sorry, you said Watkins, Wissa,
Ramos.
I mean, we need not to forget they're replacing Callum Wilson and Isak, not just Isak.
Mm-hmm.
So they've lost their 2 top strikers from the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to replace 2. So Wissa isn't an Isak replacement. Wissa is a Callum Wilson replacement.
Yes.
To me, so they still need
on the sense of like level of
the
talent.
kind of the secondary type dude, you know. Because Wissa is nearly 29 now. He's not the future. Like your Sesko would have been the future, whatever. But they're still going to need that guy, you know, that kind of, oh, that's the striker. So I was hoping Walken or Sesko, or then if someone said Jackson, I said, oh, awesome, yeah. And then they were like, yeah, and Jackson wants to stay in England. He doesn't want to leave. Like the Chelsea want to sell him, but he wants to stay in England. Perfect, nice one. Do that. Just go and do that. No,
he's open to the deal. He said he's open to the deal.
Maybe it could still happen, but
still a lot of money though.
Watkins, Wissa, Jackson. Who else is kind of randomly thrown in? Ramos, difficult to do. I liked Ramos for us before we bought Ekitike. Like I said, I liked Eze for us until I realized we actually lived in a world where we could buy Florian Wirtz, and I was like, yeah, we don't need Eze. We're getting Florian Wirtz. So they're all surely buyable. Watkins must be really buyable. Surely. Like he's nearly 30 now. Surely Villa would take a fee, and have they got a striker in Villa?
Has Villa?
Jacob probably know. He's in the year. Did Villa get a striker in?
Yeah,
I think there's some French striker. Yeah.
Is it that Garassi or something like that? It's not Garassi. Is it
not Garassi?
Something like that, Jake? Isn't it Garus or something?
Guisard.
Is that the guy? Guisard, is that the thing? Yeah, they bought someone in, right?
Yeah, they brought someone in.
And Watkins is on probably 90, 100 grand a week. He's 30. You could offload that, couldn't you?
I think he's on like 120 or 130 or something like that.
Yeah, he's on a big wage. You can offload a Watkins, right? That'd do Newcastle as a gap for a couple of years or something. You know, that would work. You can see Watkins at Newcastle, couldn't you?
Yeah, I could see that.
I could definitely see that, you know, and him with it, like him and Wissa, two older strikers, 2 years. Look, 2 years Champions League, older kind of, but experienced, old heads. They'll get you a couple of goals, and then you can spend the next 2 years with your Isak money.
Yeah,
bringing in a couple of younger, more experienced, up and coming types or something, But they'd get you over the hump.
The player you're talking about is Evan Gasson, right?
Guisson, is that what his name is? Yeah, I thought it was Guisard or something.
He's Ivory Coast player. Was with Nice, but
that's the guy.
they bought him for about £26 million, basically. That's
there you go.
Says Rush. Yes, I'm getting. I don't know who you're talking about. Who CJ's talking about, but yeah. It's Ivan Toney. I don't think is much of an option any longer. I think that ship has sailed.
I think Garassi from Dortmund could do a job for Newcastle. Like CJ right in there. I think, yeah, man. He's a goal scorer.
No
one's really looked at him.
I think isn't he like 29 now as well, Jake? Isn't he?
Yeah, I'm not sure, bro. Sure.
I think he's one of those kind of late bloomer guys. Like if he was 23, maybe, but yeah, maybe it's just his age. It's like, because so he scored a shit ton of goals the last couple of years, right?
What was the? I'm gonna blank on his name.
He's older than Wissa. Garassi is older than Wissa, and Wissa's going on 29. Yeah, so that's probably why.
I think he was I don't know. I don't think Bayern picked him up, but there was a striker that had just emerged. He wasn't. You don't think? I don't think he plays for Wolfsburg. I'm trying to think what team.
Stuttgart.
Is it Stuttgart?
Yeah,
Wolfsburg.
Yeah, good little player.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like a hot name for a hot minute.
Wolfsburg.
Yeah, Bayern were pushing.
Say again?
Is it Wolfsburg? Is that that's the guy you're talking about? Is it?
Yeah.
Plays for Stuttgart.
Oh yeah, Bayern tried to buy him for like 90 million or something, didn't they?
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't go that high or something.
Or that was the price.
That's what they wanted.
What they were asking, was it?
Yeah, Nick Waltenmade. How do you say his last name? Waltenmade.
Or J.K. No, it's a German name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ultimata, yeah.
Yeah, CJ says it was 75 million. He's got a player
They tried to.
valuation of
They went big
27
for him.
points. Yeah, I mean, Stuttgart, I understand Bundesliga hasn't started. Bundesliga hasn't started just yet, right? They start this week, I think, or something.
Yeah, this week's starting, yeah. The Super Cup was the weekend, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so this weekend coming up.
I think that would be that'd be a very good purchase for him.
For Newcastle?
For Newcastle, yeah.
Well, see, this was the exact conversation that I had about this player earlier on with someone. I said, this is the problem with Newcastle. And I use him as a perfect example.
23 years old, 23 years old.
Ultimata, right? Now, no one's going to say, look, I'm just saying, predicting the future, right? This guy is predicted to come on and be like a really top player. This guy, Ultimata, right? A really top fucking player. So if Newcastle were to get him now,
and get
Newcastle
Wissa,
would have to they would have to realize that if he does his stuff at Newcastle after 2 years,
they could have another $100 million player.
But he's going to leave. Like, he's going to cost them the bones of 100 million now. So if he comes in and he performs in the Premier League,
I see what you're saying.
Real Madrid are going to want him. Barcelona are going to want him. Arsenal, Manchester United, if they're back, Man City. So they're going to be putting themselves in an Isak scenario. So if they go, this is what I'm saying, like, they need to realize that they're big enough to buy Isak for 62, to buy Guimaraes, to buy Tonali, to buy some of these players. But if they're not big enough to hold on to them, if they're worth a world record fee, and if Real Madrid wants them or a Bayern wants them, that's what they haven't kind of realized yet. Like, they can go out and buy Nick Walton at all they want, but in 2 years' time, if he turns out to be a top player, he's going to want to go to Madrid. He's not going to stay at Newcastle for next 6, 7, 8 years. He's not Alan Shearer. They still have this whole thing in their head where they broke the world transfer record to sign Alan Shearer as a striker, and he went there and he stayed there. They don't realize if you bring in a guy like that and he lights it up, you think it's just Liverpool that are going to be after Isak? Like someone mentioned earlier on, like if it wasn't us,
it'd be someone else. It would be Barcelona.
Real Madrid is going to buy Isak.
Right.
If they needed a striker this year,
they're going to have to
eventually if they had the money,
replace their striker.
Yeah, like it's like they're asking, like, do you think, like, I think you have Sonny on my channel, he was saying, if this was any other year, it wouldn't be just us. They're acting like it's just us that's going to trying to take Isak off them. In any other year, it's Bayern, Real Madrid. If Man City didn't have Haaland, do you think they wouldn't be trying to take Isak off them?
Absolutely.
So Newcastle need to realize that you can go out and buy Nick Walton all you want and Isak all you want. If they fucking light up the Premier League, you're going to lose them. So what does it say to any other new player that you want to bring in? The way they're holding on to Isak now, any other player is looking at them going, well, I would have gone there thinking I'll do well there for 2 years, get a big move. But now look what they're doing to Isak. They won't let him go. I'm not going to go and get stuck there. You know, they need to lower their sights a little bit.
He's a tall guy too, 6'6".
He's huge. They're talking about this guy being like an Ibra. He's got skills like a 5'8" guy. Like Ekitike got a lot of skill for a big guy. This guy apparently is even better than Ekitike in terms of the skills for a big guy kind of thing.
Right. Can really like move his feet.
Proper footballer. So yeah, if he went to imagine he goes to Newcastle, he gets 40 goals in 2 years. He's going to Madrid. Sorry, Newcastle. He's going. It's not just us that are trying to take Isak off you. Any player that goes to Newcastle and really knocks it out of the park. Barcelona, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, they're going to come and take those players. we're just the bad guy this year, apparently. Like no one's ever bought one of their players before. We're the bad guys for bidding for a player. That's all we've done is make a bid for a player.
Yeah, yeah.
We haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah. Red for Life is saying he's been talking about this player since the beginning of the window for us. I don't know. It'd be 23, 6'6". It sounds very alluring to say the least, but 75, 80 million pounds. Is that what or 75 million euros? Was that what they're trying to get him for? I guess since it was Bayern Munich. That's a little different story. 75 million pounds, that's like 60 some million pounds. Or 75 million euros is like 60 some million pounds. So that's a little bit different story. That's a decent price for an up and coming striker that has shown his worth for Stuttgart.
It's a bit expensive for me. Like footballers nowadays, bro, one good season, 15 goals, you're worth 80 million. Fucking crazy. And that's why they don't take football so serious anymore like that. You know what I mean? They're just overpricing players. And it's
funny. It's funny how people are. I brought up that guy, and now people are saying how much they would like for us to bring him in as a player for us. Does that take away the need then? If we were to bring in a Nick Walter-Made?
Wait, no, we're not getting him. No way.
So I'm just saying if that were the case, because I'm just going by what the chat's asking or talking about how they would like for him to be the choice for us. If we were to bring in a player like that, I mean, that would be putting a lot of faith in two very young strikers, but also wouldn't that pretty much then signify the fact that we're not going in for Isak?
Yeah. Like for me, I just feel if we don't get Isak, we're not going to get no one in that position. We're going to stick with Ekitike. We might get a winger. That's it. And maybe a centre back. But I think Isak, if we don't get him as a striker, I don't think we're going to go for any other striker because who is there really? You know what I mean? So that's the problem there. But I just feel the Isak thing has gone on too long, and it has to end with him coming to us so everyone's happy at the end. If they got 140 million or 130 million, they're going to be laughing.
Sure, not
they're going to miss a great player.
He said no Isak, no title retention.
Look, man, Ekitike started off well.
Vito is not a fan of. He says he's watched full games of Stuttgart, and he's mostly rubbish in his opinion. Okay. All right. I will admit I have not watched that many Stuttgart games. I watched an occasional one. I will admit that since Endo was from there, but I don't follow their team. Okay, CJ. It's an interesting way of putting it. Yeah, this situation is going on all summer. It's tough to it's realistically tough. What were your thoughts about the comment that he put out there? I'll ask that to Irishman and then to JK. That Isak put out for the PFA Awards.
It's a new version of nothing new. Really. There's nothing new under the sun here. You basically just got a guy that doesn't want to play for a club anymore, and it's happened in different ways. This is a new one that it's never really been done before, I suppose. In terms of releasing this statement halfway through the PFA Awards, that's a new way of doing it.
That's a new one. But everyone's a lot of eyes are on the event, and it's something
exactly that's a new one. You know, the fact that he said he didn't want to show up.
So he could kind of make it. Yeah, he could kind of make it where he doesn't want to be there, and then he can kind of.
Well, he would have been there as a representative of Newcastle, which would have been the issue. And he's trying to basically show you that I've told you I want to break up with you, and you're not believing me. I've literally taken my name off the bank account. I've literally just this is how I'm not messing around here. It's sort of like I'm literally I don't even want to go to an event as a quote unquote Newcastle player.
Right.
Because I don't consider myself a Newcastle player anymore. Because to go there, if I was it would be Newcastle.
Now if I'm paying, he's paying out the pocket now. They're fine.
Yeah, but it's sort of like this is how serious I am about the fact that I don't want to be here anymore. Like we all said it before this started, when there was the first kind of no, Liverpool are actually serious about trying to buy this guy thing. It was like all of us here that have been around for a long time, we've all just said, look, if this is going to happen, this guy is going to have to pretty much burn every bridge there is to burn. He's going to have this. He is literally going to have to force his way out of that club. Yeah. That's why I said from day one, okay, if we're into it, and I get that he wants to join us, that's not the problem. The problem will be him, and it was always going to have to be him. How prepared is he to ruin his relationship with Newcastle fans? How prepared is he to? Because that was always, we've seen this a million times, a guy that's got 3 years left on his deal that a club doesn't want to sell. How do those guys get sold? They go on strike. They pretend to be injured. They do the Coutinho back injury stuff and then you do the, okay, we've gotten to the point of you're going on Instagram, obviously not handwritten by him, but putting up these kind of statements. This is real, like, other than just asking for a transfer request, this is kind of nuclear button. This is as far as you can go.
It does emphasize something that you mentioned, though. I mean, I know I was restating something you brought up before, which is that Isak brought this up to Newcastle, not just recently, like guys, and this last is something summer, that last summer that he had mentioned it to him, and if not earlier, there was a report that said he started to he mentioned it in January. It said in one report I read. So,
they've known for 18 months that he is unhappy, and they've known for a year that he wants to leave, like out and out, straight up wants to leave.
Right.
For a year now. And that'd be over a year now if you take to the end of, you're talking about maybe 15 months now.
Mm-hmm.
So they have no excuse. They have we didn't know the player, well, he's come out of nowhere telling us he wants to leave. No, they've known for a long time he's not happy. Let's go. Double their money, man. Double their money.
Adam is saying no player should refuse to play for a club regardless, or refuse to train, but players do it. If you were in a job and the boss promised you something and it didn't happen, you would want to leave. Absolutely. If you're in a job and you're promised a bonus or a raise or something like that, and then you didn't get it, then you'd start looking at your other options. Maybe there's some employers out there that would value your work at the level that you evaluate your work level at. Do you think that's a good question. I am Batman. Do you think if another club was to come in for Isak, he would go, or is Liverpool his only option? I would even go as far as to say, do you think that Newcastle would sell to another club? Is it that it's because it's Liverpool and they feel like
I reckon they'd sell him to the Saudis pretty happily. I reckon they'd probably that'll be an easy deal to do, right? The Saudis, sell him to the Saudis. That'll work pretty quick.
Yeah. I'm sure they could probably talk to an owner or two to get that to happen. I don't even know if they probably could if they could work a deal between themselves. It's probably. send the deal, but he'd have to okay it for it to happen, obviously.
I don't know. Would he move? Jeez. I mean, okay, so let's just pretend that there's a reason that they would need to do it. And if Real Madrid, for some reason, Mbappe breaks his leg tomorrow, and so Real Madrid can come in and say, boom, we need a striker. The question is, would he go to Real Madrid or is it just Liverpool? I think that's what the question was, isn't it? Basically, would he go to somebody else? I reckon he would go, yeah, just to get out of Newcastle. I think he would, but that's not happening. Because, nobody, that is just not actually going to happen. Bayern, Madrid, none of these other clubs are actually going to come in. But I suppose if that was in a world where it did happen, I think right now, Newcastle would definitely probably rather sell him to Madrid than sell him to us. And he'd probably go to Madrid just to get the hell out of there. Yeah, of course he'd join Madrid instead of Newcastle. Of course you would.
Yeah. I spoke on earlier about some other players that are going to be leaving. Tsimikas is possibly going to leave. Harvey Elliott. I think Crab was really focused on my words of saying that Tsimikas is a talent. I think he's talented enough, obviously, to be in the Premier League or be professional. That's a talent in itself. But I was mentioning how there are about 6 or 7 teams that had showed interest. There's reports that Leeds has given up, but there's also reports that Leeds might still be interested in the player. What are your thoughts on Tsimikas? And does he still have a place on this team, or is he in a situation that it'd be best suited for him to move on? Like which player, and if anything, which player would you have more concern on leaving, Tsimikas or Elliott?
I'd rather keep Elliott. We've got 3 left backs. Tsimikas, fair play to the lad, he's done well for us. Cost us really peanuts. We've probably got the same back. So that's a no-brainer for me. Yeah. And I think Forest were interested in him. But Forest were also going for the ex-Villa guy, Luis, in midfield. You know, the one who went to Juventus.
Yeah, that's done deal.
That's a done deal, bro. I don't understand that one. Why didn't we get involved in that? 30 million.
Which one? For what?
Douglas Luiz, Lee's favorite player. Lee has always been saying we should get. Yeah, that he signed for Forest.
Moroccan. Who did he sign for?
It's Forest.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, we should have just wrapped that one up. That would have been beautiful.
Yeah, Lee's been saying Douglas Luiz for about a year now, I think. At least a year.
Oh, Douglas Luiz.
Yeah, the guy that was at Villa that went to Juve.
No, I know that. Yeah, I thought you meant the.
Well, he was at Man City.
He talks a lot about the Moroccan defender. Plays
for.
That
other guy, Abdullah, like that guy.
Yeah.
No, Douglas Luiz is a bit of a pet. What's your pet project, Jacob? Big on the Luis. What is he, 28 now? 20? I think it's like a loan with a thing to buy or something like that. It's one of those.
Okay.
Like it's very Forest. Forest buy like 20 players every year. He's just.
Do you think that Douglas Luiz would have? I don't even know if Douglas Luiz really would he been He's a talented player. I'm not trying to say even. He's a talented player, but I'm not saying. I still don't think that he gets. I think. He would not get in over McAllister. He's not going to get in over Wirtz. He's not going to get in over Dominic Szoboszlai. He's not getting over Gravenberg. You can make an argument that Curtis Jones would at least compete with him for that 5th spot.
Oh yeah, no, he's not. He won't be a starter. He's just a real solid squad option kind of thing. Real like rock
But he
solid.
probably starts with Pearce, though, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, he makes them a much better team. He instantly makes them a much better team. But for us, no, he'd just be like you say, 5th tier or 4th choice, 5th choice kind of thing, and but a rock solid squad player for us. Again, we don't need him, but yeah, I think he makes. I just think that's a brilliant signing for Forest. It's a really good signing.
That is a good signing. That was a weird the way that he left the Premier League was kind of weird, and the way that even his girlfriend at the time was. I don't know if they're still dating or not, but she got the move to the female.
She's the one who. Yeah, she joined the Juve women's team.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
that was interesting. Because she played for the Villa women's team here, and then she got that move. So that was kind of interesting that they would move them in as almost like a package.
They come as a pair. They come as a pair. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
A twofer. What's he called over there?
Twofer. Yeah. Do you think so? What is it though? Which player leaving would you be concerned about the most? Would it be Elliott, Tsimikas, or maybe it's one of the youngsters that's going to be move away on loan? Maybe it's McConnell or Koumas or a player like that. Maybe even I don't think Kai Gordon's got a pathway to our team any longer, unfortunately. I think he's just had too many setbacks. But maybe it's Kai Gordon that you think is someone that we shouldn't give up on. Do you have
What's he done, bro? What's he done, Kai Gordon, really?
Who, Kai Gordon? Oh, yeah.
He's been with us for 3 years. Never seen him play.
It has been a while. It has been a long time. I don't even how old is Kai?
20, maybe 21.
He still plays in the U21. He's 20 years old, so he's still got time. He must have been super young when he was playing when he got his debut with us, because he got a couple of starts under Klopp. Or not starts, but he got a couple of appearances under Klopp. He must have been super young.
17.
Yeah, 16, 17 years old, something like that. This is a question. I see that the chat has moved on to talking about Luis's girlfriend more than talking about the subjects that we're.
They all hit that level, man. They all hit that level. You know, there's a million K Gordons out there, good enough to get to that point, and then this ain't new. It just ain't new. There's no newness here. It's not a new thing. Right. There's a million K Gordons. For every K Gordon, for every million K Gordons, there's one Rio, or one Lamar, or one Messi. You know, we all see, K Gordon, McConnell, Koumas. These are the guys now that have been looked at, maybe being moved on because, they've been here a while now. 18, 19, 20, 21. It ain't going to happen, or it's going to happen. You know, and then the better this Liverpool team gets, if this Liverpool team was finishing 14th in the championship, Koumas is getting into it. K Gordon might have a shot, but we're not. We're going for Champions Leagues. We're going for Premier Leagues. So I'm sorry, Bendo, K Gordon, McConnell, the bar has been raised to a level where Florian Wirtz plays in this team. Isak might play in this team. So every year, there's a couple of guys that get moved on. Tsimikas, 29 now. It's not about Tsimikas. It's about how does the team carry 3 left backs.
Yeah, for trying to be a starter like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 3 left backs. We ain't carrying, and that's the thing I was saying earlier on. It's not like Like it'd be cool, right? If Carcass, Simi, and Robbo were like, if one of them was a Gomez kind of thing, where
Hmm.
it's like, oh, he can play left back, but he can play centre half, and no, Simi out and out left back, Robbo out and out left back,
Yep.
Carcass out and out left back. People say, but he played centre half in this game. Just stop. They're out and out left backs. They
Hmm.
can't do other roles in the team. Like
Hmm.
Gomez can play right back, left back, centre half. You can't just have 3 out and out left backs. One of them's
Oh
got
yeah,
to go.
I
One
think
of them's
that's
got
why
to
they're
go.
trying out, all these left backs as left center halves as well. But I was going
Yeah,
to ask you this then. We'll go to the Irishman first, then we'll go to JK. Would Marc Guehi walk in straight into Liverpool starting 11 alongside Van
no, of
Dijk,
course not.
or would you keep the faith with Konate?
No, he doesn't walk in. You got to earn the right. You got to come in and earn the right. But if you're Mark Guehi, right, and you're looking at it and you're not thinking, at least he might get injured and I'll get in. And if I get in, then I'm going to do my best, right? And I might not be, I might lose my best, but I'll get him and do my best. And B, the guy's going to Madrid next year.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a spot there to be won. I think you play enough games to stay in the England team because the England team ain't good enough to have a Mark Guehi that's at Liverpool playing cup games, getting minutes here and there. Okay, he may not play 90 minutes every game, but if Guehi isn't looking at Ibu going, the minute you get injured, I'm going to get into that team and I'm going to try my best to take your place. And even if that doesn't work, you're effing off on a free transfer next year.
Mm.
If he's not looking at it like that, I don't know what he'd be looking at. He's he's only 24. He can do a year as a rotation guy, and then as soon as Ibu leaves next year, bang, that's you. Go take that spot. That's the way I'd look at it for him.
I don't know why MM thinks that we'll start, not MM, why CJ thinks we should start Leoni next Monday. It's interesting. Shout. Saw left field a little bit. How about for you, JK? Do you think he's a natural starter, or does he have to do what Brian just suggested, and that is earn his right to be the starter, or not even earn his right, maybe even have a situation where similar to the way that Konate won his starting role with the club. Like if
Well,
hypothetically, if we had Guehi for that Bournemouth match, would you have
Konate,
would you have done what happened to Kwanzaa to
for sure,
Konate and take him out and then maybe start using Guehi as a starter if he plays well?
big time. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Like for me, I've never been a big fan of Gay, but he's a good player. Konate, he just lets me down. Last week, bro, what was he doing?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them goals, the ball came across the box. Where was he trying to get out? Second one, the guy just ran through him. He couldn't even put a slide tackle in. Nothing. So for me, he's heading. He's a risky player to have on the pitch. Konate for me. Yeah, so I'll bring him straight in. I won't have no worry about that. If he's going on a free next season, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
And if he's going to give an attitude of I'm going next season, I don't really care. Well, there you go then. You're not playing.
Okay. Eze to Arsenal happened so fast must mean that there has been movement on the Rodrigo front for LFC. He said hashtag LFC. I don't know. I think Rodrigo is going to stay at Real Madrid. Make a real push to impress Alonso and keep it moving there.
They said that his agent was at our game against Bournemouth.
Oh, wow. I'm sure that they're going to definitely continue to keep their options open, certainly. But,
he can play DM as well, yeah.
Guehi?
Oh yeah, if you, I mean, not for us. I mean, but
Not
if
right.
like in a kind of a, if you were stuck in a pinch and it was like, Mark, have you ever played defensive midfield? He's like, yeah, I've done it a million times, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could play, you could stick him in an, you know, like in an endo thing where you needed someone for the last 10 minutes, just come in and lock out a game. If Endo wasn't there, kind of thing. He can play that little DM destroyer role. He's a really versatile player.
I haven't seen him play DM. I'd be interested.
But he's done. I mean, he can play left back. He's played left back. Guehi's a really like Gomez. He's real kind of. He's not just a
I was just going to
He's just
say
a real
Gomez.
versatile little player.
Gomez has played DM. That debut wasn't the greatest, but it wasn't.
No, I think he's he's just a real great little. You know, I'm not saying he's played it for Palace. I'm just saying he's done it in his career. He's not a DM, but I'm saying he's not just some guy who's like, oh, what do you do? I just play centre half, boss. Don't ask me to do something else because I'll make a show of myself, that kind of thing. He's like, no, I can do a job at right back. He's played left back. He's done that before, you know, like in that Gomez way and all that. He's a really, really just versatile, good little ball player. He can carry the ball out from the back, which we haven't had since really, like Joel Matip probably. You know, the way Joel would kind of, you know, love to carry it into midfield. Guehi can do that too. So to me, it's a real lockdown. I'm really surprised we didn't buy Guehi about a month and a half ago, considering it's not like they want like 100 million and we only want to offer 60. It's like, oh, they want 40 and we're only offering 35. It seems to be such a tiny difference in valuation. It's like
45. I saw the report 45, but I know what you mean. Like it's only like
because we just went down and did Leoni in like 24 hours.
Yeah.
We just got that done, you know, for around similar money. Just go and get the Guehi if we actually want to buy.
Maybe now that they got their 68 million from Arsenal, maybe they're not going to be such sticklers on trying to, like, you know.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I don't, you know, they're going to say, oh, yeah, but I know what you're saying. That's a big lump of money coming in for them.
Yeah, so
and they want to get that guy from Leicester. I hope Ant isn't out there listening because he loves like El Canus. He's been saying this guy is a proper little footballer. He's been saying that for his best player at Leicester. He said this guy's going to go far. He's been saying all that, and apparently this is the guy that Crystal Palace want to replace Eze with, and they'll probably get him for like 22 million or something, and they'll make a 50 million pound profit on Eze, and that's just what Palace do, really, isn't it?
Would you go as far as to say if we got Guehi, Isak, and Rodrigo's that's like a cherry on the top. I don't know. That might be going way too far, but because I would have just said with Guehi and Isak. But Adam's asking, would this be the best window ever? He's stating he's stating that. Actually, not asking that question, but I'm asking the question. Is this the best window ever of a team? Not even just Liverpool. I'm just talking about in general. Have you seen another club get so many high-profile players in one window?
Well, I'm not gonna make a southern dance about this window, bro. Not yet, because for me, with the amount of numbers of people we've let it go of, if them majority of them stayed, say Diaz and say Darwin, for example, then yeah, cool, we've added. But it's not like we got rid of a lot of people. Like them three names there. We need to get Guehi and Isak, and really, for me, then I'll say yeah, top window all round. Yeah.
Okay. How about for you, Brian?
Yeah, look, it's a thing that's been asked. how you rate certain windows. I mean, Chelsea's first window under Mourinho. Look what they did. I was saying pretty. That's still the most money ever spent. For us, we had a window where we brought in Beardsley, Barnes, Houghton, Aldridge. I think that was the window, wasn't Houghton, Aldridge, Beardsley, Barnes. Well, what did they go on to achieve? A fair bit of stuff. Uh, I don't know. Yeah, to me, like after with Verts, it was already an incredible window, best window ever. I suppose you won't know until afterwards. I don't think we need a Rodrigo. A Rodrigo to me wouldn't really be a part of that. Um, Guehi, Leoni, Frimpong Kirkes, Ekitike, Isak, Verts.
So it's a solid window.
I mean, if it's not the best window of all time, it's top 5. If you put Adam Wharton into that,
You're
because
getting
that's a
greedy.
player we need. It's not
Yeah.
just Adam Wharton, it's that we need a deep line playmaker to tie the whole thing together. So we will either buy if we don't buy Adam Wharton this year, or insert your own name. Mine is Adam. Some people say Baleba, some people will say, so whatever that your poison is there. Stiller, yeah, that's another people. So if you had done that, that's stratospherically incredible. That's madness. But I think right now, just in terms of how we changed the entire um viewpoint on the club when we signed Florian Wirtz, and I thought, well, that's us done. The idea that we could even sign Isak or Wirtz even contemplate signing Isak and Wirtz in the same transfer window, that blows my mind. That completely just blows my mind. That's way out there. That's just fantasy football shit. So yeah, it would have to be. It would have to be. But that other one, like the Barnes Beardsley window, that's an iconic set of players. Absolutely iconic. So let's see what these guys do. Because we have the benefit of hindsight on Barnes and all. So let's see what Verts and Isak and Ekitike do. But yeah, Premier League era, this is showing the world to me. You can judge how good it is by how pissed off opposition fans are about it. If opposition fans don't give a shit about our window, it means we've done nothing. The more angry and annoyed and pissed off Arsenal fans and other people get about our window, that just shows you that's the better the window
Oh
is.
yeah.
If we get Isak, oh well, you used to complain about Man City buying football. Meh, meh, meh. Now look what you're doing. Our books are clean, baby. Our books are clean. Bring in the auditors, bring in the FBI, bring in the fucking tax people. Our books are clean. There's no FFP charges coming at us. There's no court cases coming for us. Every single penny we've spent can be accounted for. And that's the difference. And that's what they don't understand. Guess what? We're run well and we've got money to spend and we're spending it.
How
We're
long do you
not
think it's
sending it
going to
back
be
to
then?
Florida like the Man United guys are sending it back to the Glazers. We're spending it on Verts.
How
And they can take
long? How long do you think it's going to take? How many games into the season do you think it's going to take for this team to finally click and have that it factor? They still obviously are working out some of the kinks, with the
It
defense.
won't happen till we buy a 6. It
Oh, so
won't
you're
happen till
thinking
we buy a
6
6.
is our final link.
Yeah, I don't know why we haven't bought a 6. I really cannot understand why we haven't bought a 6. I really cannot understand it.
So
It
so
makes
the
no
way that
sense to
you're
me.
using the 6, and I would say, and I'm asking this, and so you're saying that that it'll take how many games? So this is Lady B's question. She's saying, don't you think though we are going to need quite a few matches to gel? I was just wondering how many matches is that going to be? Lady B thinks it's going to be a minimum of 6 matches, and we do have. I can't say enough about how our first 8 matches, Bournemouth included, are very difficult matches. I get Burnley's in there. That's not necessarily like a juggernaut, but there are some very, very tough matches in there for us in our first 8. We're fortunate to have a lot of them at home that are the bigger matches. Obviously, Arsenal and teams like that, Manchester United, but there's still some very big matches. Adam says 5. Okay. And then I do have a follow-up question for your declaration for a 6. But how many games would you think that we'd have to go through before this team before people say, oh yeah, they finally are they're well-oiled, engine now? How many games do you think into the season we'll have to go?
Absolutely no idea. JK, I don't know. Let's think.
New-
4,
Newcastle
5,
won on
8, 9,
Monday.
10, 12. What's your pick a
The next
number?
game, bro. It can happen anytime. You know what I mean? I think Newcastle away. Hopefully we're tough that day. They're going to be up for it. So
Yeah.
it'll be that type of game where we got to really think outside the box and not be sort of taken in with the noise, the energy there. So I think if we sort of toughen up, it could click in that game.
Okay. I only ask because, like, I know, there's moments where we showed like we had it together, and then there's other moments that we showed that we were vulnerable at points against Bournemouth. But you look at the next 8, some could maybe even argue in the next 12 games. But you have Newcastle at Newcastle, then we have Arsenal at home, then we have at Burnley, then we have the Merseyside derby with Everton at home, then we have Crystal Palace. Then we have Chelsea we have 2 away games. So we have at Crystal Palace, at Chelsea.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Manchester United at home. Then we have Brentford. Then we host Villa. And then we go to City. And then we host Forest, who has played us, as of late, very, very tough. It's a lot of games that that are going to really test our measure. That's what I was just getting at.
Remember.
So with
the 6 thing, what I mean is like this team can win the league. This team can, it's improved. Well, some people say whatever, but to me, it doesn't matter if you sell players or not, as long as you replace them with better players, then you're probably going to be all right. This team can win the league if it sorts, obviously, earns out a few creases, new ideas, completely new way of playing football, as we all knew. Like Slot said, I ain't going to play the way I did last year. People were already figuring me out by February. If you think I'm going to this, he said, that's the thing going to happen. You got to keep changing. This is the Premier League. Managers are too clever. He said people already knew what we were doing halfway through the season. He said, got to change it up, got to keep going. You got Van Bronckhorst coming in, new ideas, brilliant to see. A lot of fluidity. That's going to take some time. What I'm saying is, this is all coming together quite nicely. When you drop a 6 into that, when you drop a guy where Klopp is, Slot wanted Zubimendi for a reason, right? If you bring a guy in that maybe it's next year, I'm not saying this team, blah, 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 is just reliant on one player. I think right now we can do a lot of good. You bring in a world class. Basically, what I'm saying is, if you bring in an Isak at number 9, right? A Verts at number 10, a Salah on the right wing, an Alisson in goal, a VVD at centre half. You probably got a world class player in each one of those positions. If you bring in a Verts at number 6, a VVD at number 6, someone that's that level, this is a team that can do what people wanted to do, win Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. If that guy stays fit, obviously. But this is, if you drop someone, we've got a world class number 10, a world class right winger, a world class DM, a world class goalkeeper, a world class centre half. We're getting pretty close to the perfect team there. And I just think you bring in that world class number 6, no offense to Gravenberch, Endo, anything, Like you free up Gravenberch to go forward and do more. We're talking about one of the best
Where
Liverpool
would you
teams
play?
you've seen
I
in the
mean,
last 15, 20 years.
where do you
This
play
is what we're
Gravenberch?
building.
That was my next question. If you take away the role of the
Don't
six,
worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it.
where do you play
That's what I'm
Gravenberch?
saying. Yeah, Grav moves. Like if it
No, I got
becomes
into it. I know Dara said that Gravenberch
no,
was
but that's what
was
I'm
not
saying. If it's one of
not
those things
successful
where
as a
there's a
team.
world
Well,
class number 6
going forward,
available.
he's not a success. So that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, but it's like if it's like we can't buy a world class number 6 because what do we do with Grav?
Mhm.
I mean, if that's going to stop you bringing in a Pirlo, then I don't know. Yeah, or an Alonso or a Wharton or a Baleba. Yeah, Grav moves or football moves on.
Hmm.
People change positions. Grav isn't their number 6 now de facto for the rest of his life. So next year, maybe a Wharton comes in, maybe a Baleba, maybe a Cisse at Rons, whoever, someone like that people want to bring in. But if you keep stepping it up and stepping it up and stepping it up, this is a team that's built to win now and for next 3, 4, 5, 6 years. This is what I can see happening. There's no reason we have to put our grip on this, because we're here now. Verts is here for a reason. Ekitike, Isak. We can win a lot in the next 5, 6 years. And you just add a bit more to it, Grav is a world-class box-to-box midfielder, man. World-class box-to-box midfielder, in my opinion. Not a number 6, not a deep line player. Let him loose. Let him go and attack the Premier League. See what happens.
Okay. It's a full-throated defense of Wharton. I like it.
Or the Baleba. I mean, again, like everyone wants I don't want Wharton, I want Baleba. Cool. Whoever your deep line playmaker of choice is, cool. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's just that profile. I mean, Baleba seems to be the second choice for a lot of people. Who's the third guy? People keep talking about that. Stiller. Stiller is the other guy people keep talking about. It's that guy, Stiller. So. Hey, I don't care. Either or.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I know Baleba's big on some people. I know Pops is huge about Pops and Crab love Baleba. Stiller's stats are better than Zubamendi's. Okay. Zubamendi had a little bit of a rough start. CJ likes Ederson from Atalanta. Okay.
I think Wharton, bro. Quality.
Okay. 2 for Wharton. I got you. Sounds something else. Thought about something else. Well, is there quite a few people in the chat here, so I was extended a little bit past the 2-hour mark here. But I think I am pretty much out of all the segments that I had lined up for us. Is there anything that you guys wanted to bring up or anything in the news that you guys thought was interesting that you would like to share?
Honey badgers.
The honey badger? What about the honey badger?
No, it's just the thing on my show the other night. It got a bit David Attenborough.
Oh, there's
a
a
lot
player.
of talk on honey badgers and red pandas.
No, there was a player. There was a he's an American football player, but his nickname is the Honey Badger. That's why I was like, talking about him.
You don't want to get involved. Vicious animals.
Yeah. He was a defensive player. He played for LSU, and he also played for Arizona, LSU in college, and then he played for Arizona as well. The Honey Badger was his nickname. Okay. Other than honey badgers, I just saw someone say something about like he's Walter Mate is tall. He's like, we need to bring him in because he's tall. I was like, I think that was also mentioned about Andy Carroll at one time too, but it's all good.
I just want to answer.
Andy was even compared to these boys, though, was he? JK. Andy is like, Andy Carroll was like 6'2". I mean, he wasn't even that. Like this Voltamata guy is absolutely massive, isn't he?
Yeah, he's 6'6". He's a tall
Yeah,
boy.
he's huge. It's mad to see footballers that big actually good at football, isn't it? You think there's like a point where you get like I always was like anything after 6'4", I'm kind of thinking technique goes out the window.
Mm-hmm.
But now you see these guys now, like you see a lot of them now more often. Like there are a couple of mentor, but like seriously tall guys with proper technique. It's more of a modern thing. But this guy, yeah, if you're that kind of size and you got good technique, you're kind of unstoppable, really. You've got
Yeah,
confidence.
yeah. If you're able to work your feet, yeah. She's 36 years old.
He's still playing. Andy Carroll is still playing as well. He's still
playing. Yeah.
Just signed for someone, Maidstone or something kind of weird like that. A smaller team, I think he signed for.
Plays for Dagenham.
Dagenham. That's it. Dagenham. Yeah.
Redbridge.
Dagenham and Red. Yeah.
And he's 6'4".
Yeah, and he's a big lad, but this ultimate, like it's like kind of Crouch almost kind of. It was just so weird watching Crouch play football. I never enjoyed watching Crouch play football.
That's Crouch was just like so like gangly looking. Like
I mean, we remember all like the spectacular goals and all that, but he didn't do that every game.
Yeah,
An awful lot of games, he actually looked like what you think Peter Crouch would look like with the ball at his feet.
Right.
You know, a lot of times it's like
he's 6'7", 6'7".
I like you, Peter, and I love the fact that you've had this, but I really wish you weren't playing for Liverpool. I really wish we'd never signed Peter Crouch. Seriously.
What?
I just never enjoyed watching him play football.
Oh, wow.
That's what I mean. It was never an enjoyable experience. Aesthetically, like we all remember the scissor kicks and all that, but do you think that happened every game? No, it didn't. There was an awful lot of times.
I don't think it's more the scissor kicks. I think of whenever I think of him, I think of obviously his robot celebration, but like I always thought about Crouch as his headers were what I remember him for.
Yeah, he just wasn't. To me,
I just
he has the record. Doesn't he have the record for the most? Doesn't he hold the record for the most header?
I know like I'm saying, it's like aesthetically. I mean, you like watching good footballers, and he wasn't good to watch, basically.
Okay.
To me, I mean, some people say, "Oh,
everyone's up to their own opinions." I wouldn't go as far as CJ just said, but I got you. Okay.
I never really enjoyed his. Again, like you get the rose into glasses and you remember the good bits, but
yeah. No, I was just saying Peter Crouch is definitely not better than El Nino.
No, that's nonsense.
That's not in that conversation.
No, that's nonsense.
And I like Peter Crouch, but I wouldn't go that far. Adam's asking, can anyone see any shock signings on deadline day for any teams? It's a very good question.
Hopefully Isak to Liverpool.
Yeah, there you go.
That's the one. I don't get anyone on bothered about.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I like to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's say Jackson to Newcastle, so we get Isak. How about that?
Okay.
Who needs a player? Okay, so a shock signing? Who's like other than Newcastle? We all know they. So let's even take Newcastle. Who actually needs a player? A lot of clubs have kind of done decent-ish business. Maybe Spurs. I could see Spurs pulling a big name out of the hat. Maybe
Bonkers with the shout. That's who I would have suggested actually.
Yeah, I wouldn't even. I could see Spurs pulling a name out of the hat. Late doors.
Spurs like working a deal.
Even if it's not Elliott. I can see him pulling that.
Working a deal, I was going to suggest like getting Elliott for like 45 million instead of 50, and they include the buyback clause. and Elliott has his spot on a Champions League team, and he gets to prove his worth. Gets to play, possibly work his way into the England squad. I think that'd be fantastic. That's why I think that'd be a fantastic move. Fantastic move. I don't think Freddie Adu plays anymore, but okay.
No, he does. He's going to give it up with this. No, I just think if Spurs, I mean, it'd be very Spurs to lose out on Eze and Savinho.
Mhm.
So if they did lose out on them, both of them, then I could definitely see
Oh, you know what? That's a good
Spurs
point.
pulling out some kind of random last minute kind of signing.
I'm trying to think
A
of
kind of a
who-
big name attacker. I don't know who it would be, but something maybe. I don't know. Most other teams just seem kind of fairly boxed off. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like City seem pretty boxed off. Arsenal now would be pretty boxed off with Eze. We're pretty cool other than with Isak. All the other kind of smaller teams have done a lot of business.
How about Bernardo Silva to leave? Maybe Bernardo Silva finally figures out a way to get his deal
Finally, well, if
get out of
Barca,
to go back to
finally,
Spain or something.
jeez.
I think Akanji's going to leave. Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
he's
can't.
gone.
Yeah.
For,
I thought
he's
he was
gone.
already.
For,
Is he gone?
yeah.
Or maybe who might be a big name that leaves. At least leaves. I don't know about. Obviously, they're talking about signings, but I think a big name might leave is Ederson.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big
That was
name.
nearly done. Yeah, that whole Donnarumma thing, that's hinging on him. That's weird, isn't it? Donnarumma playing for Pep? That doesn't sound right, does it?
Doesn't sound right. But I mean, I know that Manchester United are still trying to be a part of that as well. Because Onana, their goalkeeping looks pathetic. Albeit that was a foul. That was a foul. That was goalkeeper interference.
Why aren't Chelsea trying to get Donnarumma? Like Chelsea have Sanchez and he's Maresca's even more Pep than Pep is actually.
Didn't they just
Probably,
bring in?
yeah.
Didn't they just grab a goalkeeper? I remember when they were interested in Kelleher, but
I don't know, man. Yeah,
It's
Donnarumma
so
is a weird one if he goes to Man City for me. That's a really weird one. That's like Pep signing Ibra. It's like just weird. Weird. It sounds like just trying to get him because he's gettable, maybe. I don't know. Because they just brought back Trafford for 40 million.
he was. They have Philip Jorgensen. He's like the Norway's keeper for Chelsea. But yeah, Robert Sanchez is still.
Yeah, and he's terrible. He's a terrible goalkeeper. He's literally a terrible goal. He's the next Claudio Bravo. He's like brilliant with his feet and all. He's absolutely terrible goalkeeper. Which is why I couldn't understand why they didn't go for Kelleher, because Kelleher's really good with his feet, and he's
I
a
don't think
really
they
good
would.
goalkeeper.
I think we would have charged them well over what
We
we
gave
charged.
him to fucking Brentford for 12 million quid, man.
I know, but I'm
I
just
mean,
saying that I think we would have charged Chelsea. I'm sure that wasn't the price for Brentford. Wasn't probably the price for
5
Chelsea.
maybe. I mean, no, I said I liked Chelsea for Keller. I mean, it would have been crazy. I know it would have been, but I just thought Keller is too good for Brentford. I thought he was, if he was to stay in England, I thought Keller would go to Chelsea. Was a good move for him because Sanchez is a terrible goalkeeper. But
I'll admit that though. The asked, did anyone see Arsenal's new tactics of blocking keeper kicks to try and force corners for time wasting? They are so.
Don't even talk about Arsenal. Their time wasting shitty tactics bullshit. I mean, that's what you get for 800 million quid in 6 years. Is that right? One FA Cup and a reputation for just being horrible and set piecey. That's Arsenal for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you imagine what they did with a good manager, imagine that set of players and a good manager.
MM is saying the color sale was to help the Wirtz deal. Leverkusen wanted Flecken.
I
Why they
don't
got a
believe that.
bargain, he thinks.
I've never believed that. I've never believed that, to be honest with you. That's me. There's too many moving parts in that deal. You're talking about 3 different human beings, Flecken, Kelleher, and Wirtz. You're not just talking about pawns on a chessboard, you know. It sounds good and all that, but you can't just place people. That's people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't. I never. I just thought that was just no.
Good old Arthur Mello. Jeez. Interesting.
That's where he started, I think, his cameo.
It's a shame. He was I was hoping that was going to work out for us. Just never got a chance.
Well, he was highly. I think Barcelona were even less impressed. He was highly. Yeah, he was one of the next. You know, the next this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But when he was coming out of Brazil, he was going to be the next kind of. Not a Mascherano, but like a little Busquets or a little kind of top little player. What did he get? I think it's something like 8 minutes or something he played for us or something.
Yeah. I don't even know if he played that many.
Yeah, I mean, just literally came on and got injured and just that was it.
I think he got in for like 2 minutes in the game or something one time. So it was like ridiculous how like he got on just to basically get on and then hear the referee blow the whistle like seconds later. That was
and I don't know, not to go all Football Manager, but if you bought the right not the right version, if you bought a particular version of Football Manager, Arthur Mello was like between top 3 and top 5 DMs in the world. Well, by the time he's 25, his stats were massive. His projections were huge. I was like, okay, and that's a hugely disappointing transfer for me, that guy. You know.
I don't think. I agree with you, Adam. This won't happen. That will not happen.
Apparently, Newcastle made an inquiry, and they were told he's no interest in leaving Bayern. But apparently, that was Newcastle. I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
like, I don't blame them, but they actually they.
He's winning titles now. He just won the Super Cup with them. He was front and center for that. I saw that. He was all happy. He was,
Yeah, but why not ask the question? Why not ask the question and say, hey, look, look, Harry, if you are planning on coming back to England, we'll give you no, not interested. Okay, thanks. Just asking the question.
Just asking, yeah.
Just asking. But why not? They need a striker.
Yeah, why not? Why not? You're right about that. City might do a Donnarumma and Rodrigo. Who else did someone just say? Yeah. Big up, Lee, by the way. Big up. AR is adamant about we need to offload Tsimikas, Elliott, Reese Williams, and Ramsey.
I think Ramsey's gone, isn't he?
I don't think so. I think he's still on our team. I'll look it up. I think he's still.
I thought he had a loan. I thought he got a loan.
Well, not on the team like that, but I meant like he's on.
No, I thought he got a loan. He was getting a loan, definitely. Back to Scotland kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Reese Williams, he'll probably go back out on loan as well. He spent the last, I think, 2 or 3 years out on loan.
Mm-hmm.
Reese Williams, he'll be one of those guys on, they don't have to. It could be week after deadline day, and they can go on loan somewhere.
Let me see if I have an answer for you.
But yeah, they're saying Ramsey
Yeah.
or Elliott's agreed personal terms with Leipzig, so he's ready to go somewhere if a bid is made. So
He is still technically a part of Liverpool. He's still a Liverpool FC defender, but he is currently on loan at
yeah,
the
he's on loan. Yeah,
Scottish Premier Club, Kilmarnock.
Kilmarnock. Yeah, I knew he's gone on loan. Yeah, I knew we didn't sell him. That's what I'm saying. He's on loan somewhere. We still own him, but he's going back to Scotland. That's probably going to be.
It's probably be his last. Yeah, he joined in January 2025.
Yeah, that's going to be it for him.
Yeah, it's probably going to be his last. It's a shame because there was a lot of high hope for him.
Yeah, Connor Bradley Connor Bradley just became the new Calvin Ramsey after overnight kind of thing. It's like, oh.
I just remember that he was like highly him. What was he? Aberdeen, right? Was his original team?
I think so. Yeah.
It was highly. I remember they had they had some people that were obviously Aberdeen fans, and the people that saw him in Aberdeen were saying that he's the next talent, that he was going to be able to, possibly be the successor to the Trent, blah, 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 blah. But just never.
We just got the Irish Ramsey then instead. Bradley just came and said, if you think that's what the next Trent looks like, this is me. It's like, okay. Nobody knew he was there. Calvin Ramsey and Bradley were literally fighting it out. Bradley won that race. Bradley won that war, absolutely.
Yeah.
Calvin Ramsey in Kilmarnock now, and Bradley's in the first team. So, two young for me as an Irish guy, look, we got the Irish guy. The Scottish guy didn't quite make it,
Yeah,
but yeah, two very similar players. Calvin Ramsey, Connor Bradley, young Irish, Northern Irish attacking right back, young Scottish attacking right back. Good at this, good at that. Basically, really similar profiles, the two of them. Incredibly similar. One we bought, one brought through. Bradley. Yeah, Calvin Ramsey is looking at Bradley going, that was supposed to be me.
That was supposed to be me.
That should have been me.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be him before Connor Bradley, to be honest with you.
Yeah, sports is tough. Sports is, people don't realize, man, how, when as a young kid, sports can break your fucking heart, man.
Yeah.
The amount of kids that are out there going, that was supposed to be me. That was supposed to be my, and then I got that ACL, or then I got an ankle injury.
Kai Gordon's saying that, I'm sure.
Yeah, Kai Gordon now is like, everyone's looking at Rio going, that was supposed to be me.
Yeah, I was supposed to have
Trancone Doherty,
attention as
Koumas, Trancone Doherty, Kay Gordon, Ben Doak. But Rio is like, shit, that's how good you have to be. That's how good you have to be.
Yeah, sliding doors, man. The sliding doors.
I like the way Slott's taking the pressure off a little bit, though, and I think it was intentional, where it was hype, not hype, but talk, good talk. And then bang, Guardy Shield, no minutes. Elliott comes on. And everyone's going to think, Rio will come on, Charlie Shield, man, he'll make a difference. No minutes. First game, no minutes. It's really taking that step. Let it build up and build up. Give him his new contract, give him his head, as I say. Get him into the team. But now let's just take a step back. Now because they're watching this media. Okay, let's just take a step back with this kid. I like that. I think it's a really good
scene. I would have liked to have seen either Rio or even Fetty in that charity.
No, it would have been nice, but I just like the way they noticed that there was a lot of kind of noise building up around Rio. It's like, okay, let's just dial this back a little bit. I like the way they're managing him that way, because there's plenty of time for Rio to go on and be an awesome player. I just like the way that they've kind of got him into the team, And then there was a lot of people already going, "Oh, we need to chill out. We need to chill out. You can't do this." And I was like, "Yeah, look, 2 games, no minutes.
Mhm.
Reduce them back again." It's to me, I don't think that's in any way kind of happened by accident. I think that's been done by design, and it's just a proper little way to handle a kid. Give him his taste. He knows he's in it now, but take him out of the spotlight again. Because if he comes on, he plays, against Palace, like we were saying, he's not some French kid or some German kid. He's an England player.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as the English fans and the English press find out about this kid, they wouldn't give a shit if he was Spanish or Moroccan or something like that. They were like, oh, then, but the fact that he can play for England in a World Cup year, he comes on and does well, they'll start pushing that Rio for England agenda,
Mm-hmm.
because they love it. So we're dial it back a little bit and, you know, breed them in that way. I like it because England, man, they build them up and they knock them down. That's what the English press has built its whole career in England on taking young players, building them up, and then waiting for them to fuck up and then knocking them down. They love it. That's what they do. They invented the whole paying hookers to go and sleep with players to sell stories. To try, that's their whole thing. In England, they love, JK will tell you, they love nothing more than to take a young player, build them up, and then to knock him down. Raheem Sterling, just ask him. Just ask him. So Rio needs to be protected. Rio needs to be properly protected. So,
Right. Excuse me.
oh,
Sorry
bless
about
you.
that. Thank you. Well, I'm going to wrap up the show here. If Foden were to leave City, that'd be incredible. That would be probably the
He
biggest
should.
name to leave. If
He should
Foden,
just fuck off.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen, but Foden is pretty much their poster boy, or one of their poster boys at City. But anyhow, just going to wrap up this episode. We've broken down the Guehi situation, the Isak, saga, latest insider reports. Now it's up to you. Let us know in the comments. Should Liverpool break the bank for Isak? Is 130 is the 130 million pound bid going to get it over the line? Do you want Guehi alongside Virgil van Dijk, or is it? Thank you, Pops. Or do you think that he's got to, like Brian suggested, work his way into the lineup? Or is the squad already strong enough to retain the title even if we don't get Guehi or even Isak? Are those two players necessary for us to retain the title? Make sure to hit subscribe, drop a like, and share this with a fellow Red if you can. If they're not a Red, they can certainly join the conversation as well. But I'd like to thank the Irishman. Thank you for joining us today. Big up, big up.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
And JK, thank you for joining as well.
Cool, bro.
Cool. Yeah. Do you have anything that you wanted to plug, Irishman?
Yeah. Here we go for Eze. Yeah. No, just yeah. It's a here we go for Eze. It's an official. Here we go for Eze.
Official. That's horrible. I know
Nice.
that they were in advanced talks that was being put out there. I don't see why
Spurs, you mean?
Spurs didn't just spend the extra cash. Yeah. I believe they probably could have. I mean, but maybe I just don't see Eze as being that critical of a addition to make it 68 million. 68 million is a lot, though. That is a lot.
I mean, but we all know what, like, Arsenal taking a player that Tottenham thought they had. I mean, we all know what that's going to be like.
Mm-hmm. It was put out there that Eze was apparently a boyhood fan of Arsenal. So,
well, he's a London boy, right? He's going to be a fan of one of the big clubs, probably. Unless he's Millwall fan. Well, he went through Millwall, didn't he? Jake, he was a Millwall kid, wasn't he?
I think so.
It was either Millwall or UK, or I think they got. They got Elise and Eze came from one of the
Yeah, one of them
QPR
did.
and Millwall.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a proper London boy, but yeah, you just know Arsenal fans are just gonna be lording it up on Tottenham fans now. You
He's a
thought you were
QPR
getting
boy.
Eze, we took him now, so
He went to QPR, or he started at QPR.
yeah, I think Elise came through Millwall.
Mm-hmm. And then he went to the Wanderers for loan, and then he went back to QPR, and then he went to Crystal Palace. As he's a Guna. He's a Guna from Young.
Oh, bless up, ups. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Odegaard to back up Eze. Who knows? Maybe. I don't think so. I don't think that'll happen. That's a strong, strong statement to do for your captain.
Odegaard needs to step up. He needs to re-up his energy levels for next year.
Yeah.
Odegaard's drifting.
Yeah.
They're all drifting. These boys, man, it's Arteta. It is not the players. It is art. Can you imagine, like I said, what a half-decent manager could do with this squad?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a really good squad of players when you just look at it on paper. We all wanted Zubimendi. Let's not pretend we didn't. We all wanted Zubimendi.
Yeah.
You know, Eze, this is a top fucking team. But you got this dude
I
in
think
charge.
the reason why a lot of us wanted Zubimendi is because our coach was.
Well, yeah, because we thought that's what the team wanted. So you were like,
Yeah.
bang, go, get it done.
Yeah.
If that's what you want, go get it done. Let's not pretend he's a bad player now just because he went to join Arsenal.
No.
You know, so like they got a lot of good players there.
No.
I don't know about Gyökeres. I'm not a huge fan of him. But if he works in an Arsenal system, that's a good player, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he works in a Liverpool type scenario, but like he's one of those guys. There's people already like he's under the microscope. Gyökeres straight away because he scored like 700 goals in Portugal. So he should score 700 goals. Not going to happen. Like that.
Well, that was one of the biggest articles I saw, or biggest statements on tweets on the internet, where it's the fact that he had 0 touches, or not 0 touches. He had 0 shots, 0 chances created. Like, it's not a good look. Not a good look at all. But that's who we have to contend with, and I hope he doesn't catch lightning in a bottle. So don't need him doing that. But people, we are going to join you tomorrow again. I've been saving the Scapegoat FC show. I'm definitely going to bring out, but I also have, now that I have a member to the channel, I might have to put out some members only content. So maybe we'll make that members only content. Who knows? Yeah, shout out to Koumas for joining. Yeah, big up. And other than that, shout out to Irishman again. If you haven't joined his channel, be sure to do so. Shout out to JK. Definitely, he doesn't have his own channel, but he's always a welcomed contributor to this channel, to the Irishman's channel. And he even partakes in other channels across the platform. But most importantly, thank you to the chat for joining us today. And we hope that you join us tomorrow. Until then, people, up the res each and every time. We're going to get through this saga. We'll get through this saga, and we'll hopefully have some names out there that can be thumbs up on for all of us to think that. So, but until then, though, definitely take care, and always remember, you'll never walk alone.